Welcome to Cosmic Scene with Jill Jardine. I'm your host, Jill Jardine, Master's in Counseling Psychology, astrologer, psychic, healer, yogi, and certified Sanskrit Mantra instructor. In today's episode, I'm going to introduce you to Sanskrit Mantras for healing. This is the fourth in our series of Sanskrit Mantras, so you'll want to stay tuned to learn some powerful healing mantras. Welcome to Cosmic Scene. This is our episode on Sanskrit Mantras for healing. This is the fourth in the series of Sanskrit Mantra podcasts I have been sharing over the last few episodes. And so today our focus is going to be on mantras for health and healing. Very much needed at this time while a pandemic rages out there in the world. I will refer you back, though, to my earlier 3 podcasts on Sanskrit mantras, including Introduction or Obstacle Removing Mantras, which was the first Sanskrit mantra podcast, which features Ganesha mantras for removing obstacles. The second one in the series was on mantras for abundance and prosperity, so make sure you listen to that one as well. And the third one was on mantras for love. We all need love, and I shared some very powerful love mantras. And so today's episode, I am going to share mantras for health and healing. And I want to remind my listeners that you can't find this combination of mantras anywhere. I was initiated and certified as a mantra instructor from my teacher, Namadeva Archarya, Thomas Ashley-Farrand. He has some great books out there on Sanskrit mantras. And his teacher was Sat Guru Sankeshava Das and Guru Ramamata, and they brought through a lineage of Sanskrit mantras from India. And so this mantra transmission that I share comes with the whole lineage behind it, and it's got some juice to it. Or what we would say in Sanskrit, it has some Shakti. And what is Shakti? Shakti is divine life force. I'm going to do a podcast on Shakti mantras coming up, but today I want to talk about Shakti and how it's involved in healing. So there are various types of Shakti. I'm going to talk about the type that we use for healing, which is called Parashakti, the power of light and heat. This is the supreme force that exists throughout the universe. Its principal attributes are heat and light, and they manifest in the universe through suns and galaxies. In us, our Parashakti comes from the heat and light generated by the Manipura chakra at the solar plexus. Remember to go back and listen to my podcast on chakras and kundalini yoga, where we discuss how Shakti and kundalini is generated and the chakras and why they are so important for our energy and esoteric spirituality, physiological, spiritual physiology. Okay, so the Manipura is at the solar plexus. The color associated with it is generally gold. It is the sun center of our body, the solar. So you can imagine there's a little golden sun shining in your solar plexus, and you can activate it with mantras that transmit healing and Shakti, specifically Rama mantras that go to the deity Ram, who is an incarnation of the preserver deity in the Vedic pantheon, Vishnu. So Rama is an incarnation of Vishnu, as is Hanuman, his devoted disciple, Hanuman, which I'm going to talk in more detail about later in the use of Hanuman mantras for healing. But Ram is also the bij or seed mantra for the solar plexus chakra. So I'm going to teach you that now. Let's do the simple mantra Ram, R-A-M, to generate heat and light coming from the solar plexus, which we can share with others for healing as well. The term prana, I shared in an earlier podcast, and that's the transmission of this heat or healing. So if we want to activate the sun center, the solar center, we chant Ram. And so let's do that together 9 times. So we'll inhale, and on the exhalation, we're going to chant the seed or bij mantra Ram for healing. Here we go. So do try this at home, chanting the bij or seed mantra Ram as many times as it feels good. As I was chanting that, I could feel it vibrating through the microphone, and I can feel it at my solar plexus, and it moves down to my feet and up to my head. And this is a very purifying practice as well. I'm going to talk in a later podcast about the planetary mantras and how they can help us with healing as well, and so many other things. So the sun center can be activated by very simple mantra Ram, which is also the bij or seed, which, as I discussed in an earlier podcast, is like the acorn to the tree. So do try this simple practice for healing. Welcome back to the episode on healing. So if we look at health and healing, a lot of what ails us can be karmic in nature. In fact, my teacher, Thomas Ashley-Farrand, Namadeva, and other gurus have all said that any kind of illness, disease, or health issue is karmic in nature. So by that meaning, we would want to go in and work through karmic blockages. Even in these times when we have a pandemic of the coronavirus happening, well, is it karma that some people are getting it and some aren't? Maybe, maybe not. And when we talk about karma in this way, it's non-judgmental. But if you run around without a mask around infected people, you are karmically opening yourself up to getting disease. So anyway, I want to talk about how mantras work at clearing and digging out karma. And again, this is from the teachings of Namadeva Archarya, Thomas Ashley-Farrand. In the process of digging out crystallized thought patterns, we are taking a drill to the karma stored in the organs. And imagine trying to clean a swimming pool with several inches of mud accumulated on the bottom. You put in a suction hose or a vacuum to clean the pool, and guess what? You're going to stir up that muck and mud at the bottom. So it's going to look like the water is getting even dirtier. Even though that mud and muck was at the bottom, you couldn't see it. You could see clear on top, but there's still this dirt at the bottom. What a great metaphor for our subconscious. And any kind of work we do when we go to do self-knowledge or self-realization or shadow work, we're going to stir up that muck at the bottom. That's the shadow. And so what feels like it might be getting worse before it gets better, that just means that what was unconscious or subconscious is coming to the surface. And that's part of the healing process. And this goes to emotional, psychological, and even physical healing. Sometimes when symptoms come to the surface, it's because they are coming out of the organs, and it's not a bad thing. I mean, skin issues are a good example of that. When we have disruptions or eczemas or bumps on our skin, sometimes that's because we might have an allergy inside the organ, or there's things going on in the digestion or the lungs. The skin is a second lung. It does allow us to detox our body. So sometimes the very act of detoxing feels not so good. It can make us sick. Well, that's sort of the metaphor of digging out karma by starting to chant mantras in the pool. The clarity of the water may temporarily become obstructed, and it may appear to become dirtier than it was before the cleaning started. This is similar to some effects produced by intense use of mantra. And so I do recommend that you chant mantra a few minutes a day. And you do even more than that, because if you start working with it an hour or so a day, you're going to be cleaning up some of that muck in your psyche and your body, and your life will become very interesting in bizarre ways. In fact, in my experience, when I start chanting, or since I started chanting, it is more. It's almost like you crave more. It's like the mantras become a meal. Like, imagine if you missed a meal, you go hungry. So you can actually experience this hunger for mantras, which, I mean, of all the things to be hungry for, being mantra hungry is a good thing. It will keep you disciplined in doing a practice. So to kind of follow up from the simple Ram Bij mantra I shared in the first segment, I want to share another mantra for healing to the principle of Ram, divine healing. And again, Ram was an incarnation of Vishnu. And this mantra is one of the most powerful that you can say. It translates to, hey, Ram, bring your healing here to the earth where it is needed. And if you can think of any deity, if you are aligned with Jesus, you can think of it as Jesus bringing the healing to the earth. Or if you're aligned with any principle, the principle of light as healing, you can imagine that this is what this mantra is invoking. And the mantra is Om Ram Ramaya Namaha. So let me chant that 9 times. Om Ram Ramaya Namaha. It's a great, easy mantra. I give this one a lot to younger people. It's very good for calming anxiety in younger people. A lot of college students have stress and anxiety, teenagers, even those who may be afflicted with attention deficit disorder or ADHD, the attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, or as many of the youngsters have these days, the anxiety. So not only is this mantra great for healing your body, it's also great for calming the mind, as are all mantras, but this one specifically is really good for calming the mind. And again, the mantra is Om Ram Ramaya Namaha. I'll chant it 9 times. Om Ram Ramaya Namaha. 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 So I want to introduce you listeners to another healing mantra in Sanskrit. And this comes from the Vedas, the story of the celestial healer who's called Danvantre. And there is a mantra to the celestial healer. But I want to tell you a little bit about the story of how Danvantre came to be and why is he symbolically the deity energy for healers, specifically Ayurvedic healing. So in one of the Puranas, Danvantre emerged from the ocean of milk and appeared with a pot of amrita, which is a Sanskrit word for nectar, whilst the ocean was being churned by the Devas and Asuras. Devas are angels and Asuras are demons. And so it was being churned with this serpent called Vasuki. Well, the pot of Amrita was snatched by the demons, and after this event, another avatar called Mohini, female, she appears and takes the nectar back from the demons. It was believed that it was Lord Danvantre who did bring this healing Amrita nectar to the world, okay? And he also began the practice of Ayurvedic medicine. According to an ancient text called the Charaka Samhita, the knowledge of Ayurveda is eternal and is revealed in each of the cycles of the creation of the universe. And even Lord Vishnu, who's the preserver deity in the Vedas, incarnates as Lord Danvantre and reestablishes the tradition of Ayurveda in the world to help relieve some of humanity's suffering. So we really need that at this time. Lord Danvantre is known as the father of Ayurveda since he was the first divine incarnation to impart its wisdom amongst humans. So, for those of you who may not know what Ayurvedic medicine is, it does come from the ancient Vedas, and it's a form of healing that uses foods and herbs and other practices, including yogic practices as well as mantra, to promote healing. So, with Danvantre as the father of Ayurveda coming through the churning of the cosmic ocean of milk to deliver Amrit to the demigods. And so it is a way that we can achieve self-realization through concentration of the mind, withdrawal of the senses, control of all desires, austerities, and asceticism. Well, this is yogic practices. So there's a connection too with Lord Danvantre and Lakshmi, the goddess of abundance, who I talked about in the podcast on prosperity. So if you think about it, a form of wealth is health, and that's the connection between Danvantre and Lakshmi. So if we chant to Danvantre, the Bij mantra, Om Shri Danvantre Namaha, we are invoking the celestial healer, salutations to the being and power of the celestial physician through the ancient Ayurvedic text. Now, this is a very good mantra for healing generally. If you are a healer yourself and you want to send healing to someone, or if you are just a person who wants to send healing to somebody, you don't have to be a healer. But it also helps us if, let's say, we don't know what's wrong with us or, what ails us. This is a great mantra because you will find out what your issue is physically, and it can also bring in really good doctors, physicians, healers to help you with your health issues. So it's a pretty multi-purpose health and healing mantra, and the mantra again is Om Shri Danvantre Namaha. Let's chant it 9 times. Om Shri Danvantre Namaha. 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 This is a great mantra to get to the source of what ails you or what your health issues are and where they may be kept, or what is the source in your body, which organ, what is the reason for illness, sickness, or disease. Exciting news, folks. Cosmic Scene with Jill Jardine is also a radio show broadcasting at a new time, Sundays, 11 a.m. Eastern Time on WATD 95.9 FM, broadcasting to Boston South Shore, and streaming live on 959watd.com on Sundays at 11 a.m. The beauty of the radio show is that you can call in and get mini readings from me or my psychic guests. Call in at 781-837-4900 to get your reading and tune in on Sundays at 11 a.m. Eastern Time. For this next segment, I want to introduce you to mantras to Hanuman. Hanuman is the monkey god in the Vedic teachings who is known to be invincible and immortal. Hanuman was a devotee of Lord Rama, who I talked about earlier, who brings in very powerful healing. So Hanuman was the son of Vayu, the god of the wind, and Anjana, a celestial nymph. So the son of a wind god and a nymph turned out to be a monkey. And as a child, this monkey, Hanuman, had great powers. One morning, he saw the sun rising and thought it was a great yellow ball. He decided to get hold of it so that he could play with it. Indra, the king of gods, saw Hanuman leap into the sky and wanted to stop him. And how did he do that? He threw his weapon, the Vajra, thunderbolt, at the child. Hanuman fell to the earth, wounded. Hanuman's father was really, really angry. Well, there was no way to placate the Lord of the Wind, Vayu. And so Brahma, who was the god or Vedic deity in the pantheon, who's the creator, released a decree and said that no weapon would ever hurt Hanuman and that he would be able to change his form at will and travel wherever he chose. And so, as the god of fire, Agni, blessed him with immunity to fire. Surya, the sun god, gave Hanuman the power to change the size of his body. Yama, the god of death in the Vedic pantheon, blessed him with good health and immortality. Vishwakarma, the divine architect, offered a boon that Hanuman would be safe from all objects of his creation. With all of these boons, Hanuman became a great warrior who played a crucial role in the Ramayana, which is an ancient Vedic story about Ram and Sita and Hanuman. But the legacy of Hanuman leaves us with some amazing mantras for healing. And so to increase your life force, to bring healing energy through your body, Hanuman mantras help. They also help with Mars in our natal chart, but that's for an astrology podcast. So Hanuman can help us with our life force, basically. And the first mantra I want to teach you on Hanuman is Om Shri Hanumate Namaha. Salutations to conscious prana. And this will improve our life force. Om Shri Hanumate Namaha, chanted 9 times. Om Shri Hanumate Namaha, 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 Om Shri Hanumate Namaha. Okay. There's a second one for Hanuman I want to share, which can help in both strength and agility, and again, enhance your life force. And that mantra is Om, Hum, H-U-M. So this is a seed for the throat chakra. So it's going to help you with speech as well and heal any throat chakra issues as well. Om Hum Hanumate Vijayam. So it basically means victory to conscious prana and enhancing strength and agility. So let's chant Om Hum Hanumate Vijayam 9 times. Om Hum Hanumate Vijayam. 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 And now for our last segment on healing Sanskrit mantras, I invite you to get comfortable, relax, whether it's sitting down or lying down, so you can hear this very sacred mantra that I'm going to share. It's 40 verses long, and I'm not going to teach this to you. I am going to send sacred healing transmission through the airwaves and chant the Hanuman Chalisa. If you want to find some other versions of this, Krishnadas, who is a kirtan musician who sings bhajans or sings kirtan, which is the chanting of mantras, has excellent versions of the Hanuman Chalisa for Westerners. But there are other versions done by gurus and Indian chanters in Sanskrit of the Hanuman Chalisa. So I am going to say this sacred 40-verse healing transmission of the Hanuman Chalisa, which blesses you with all kinds of things. Health, healing, helps to get rid of demons or negativity, also brings blessings of prosperity and other blessings and boons into your life. And so take a moment, get ready to relax, to receive the transmission through my lineage of the Sri Hanuman Chalisa. Jaya Hanuman Yana Gunasaga, Jaya Kapisha Tihu Loka Ujaga, Ramadutta Talita Baladama, Anjani Pudra Bhavana Sutanama, Mahavira Vikramba Jarangi, Kumati Navera Sumatike Sangi, Kanchana Barana Pevaja Suvesa, Kandana Kundana Kunjita Keta, Hasa Vajra Dwajala Viraje, Kande Munji Janaveo Sage, Shankara Suvana Kesari Nanda, Teja Pratapa Mahajagavadya, Vidyavani Guniyati Chatu, Ramakaja Karibiko Atara, Prabhucharita Sunabeko Rasya, Rama Lakshana Sita Manapasya, Sukshma Rupa Darisiya Dikavari, Pikat Rupa Dari Lanka Javari, Bhima Rupa Dari Asura Samvare, Ramachandra Ke Kasha Samavare, Lasa Shivana Lakshana Shivaya, Shri Raghuvera Harashi Uralahi, Rahupati Kina Bahuta Pararihi, Tuma Mama Priya Bharata Samabai, Sahasra Badana Tumariya Sagawi, Asakai Shri Pantikantala Gawi, Sana Kanika Brahmani Munisha, Narada Sharada Sahita Haisha, Yamakubera Dekapala Jahanti, Kabikopira Kaya Sake Kahante, Tuma Upagra Sugriv Harikina, Rama Milaya Raja Patadina, Tumari Mantra Vivishana Mana, Langshaya Rara, Baya Sabha Jagajana, Yuga Sahaswara Yujana Parabanu, Lilotari Madura Falajanu, Prabhu Mudrika Malimu Kamahi, Jalari Langigaya Asharajanahi, Durga Makajata Jagata Kejati, Sugamanura Tumare Tati, Ramaduvari Tumarakavari, Hotanajna Bina Pasari, Sabasukalahi, Tumari Sharana, Tumarakshaka Kahoko Darana, Apanateja Samaro Ape, Tino Loka Hankate Kampe, Buddha Pishachni Katnayavi, Mahavira Jamanama Sunave, Nashe Rog Hare Sabapira, Japanataranta Hanna Matavera, Sankatate Hanumana Chidavi, Manakrama Vashana Dana Jolavi, Sabapera Rama Tabaswi Raja, Tina Kekaja Sakala Tumasaja, Ora mana rata joy koya lavi, soya mita jivana falashari, sharan yuga patatapatu mahara, he parasita jagati ujiara, sadhu santake tumarakavari, asura nikanda ramadulari, ashta siddhi navanidike data, asavaradina janaki mata, Rama Rasana Tumari Pasa Sadhurahu Raghupatike Dasa Tumari Bhajana Ramakopava Janma Jamake Dukabisavare Antakara Raghavara Purajahi Jahajan Mahari Bhakta Kahahi Ora Devata Chitanantarari Hanumatasaya Sarva Sukakari Sankatakate Mite Sabapira Joy Sumare Hanumata Balabira Jai 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 Hanumano Kasai Kripa Karo Kuru Deva Kinai Yoy Shatapada Pattakara Joy He Shutari Bandi Mahasuka Hoyi Joy Yahapadi Hanumana Chalisa Hoya Siddhi Saki Garisha Tudasi Dasada Harichara Ki Jainata Radaya Mahadera Pavana Tanana Sankanta Harana Mangalamurati Rupa Rama Lakshana Sita Sahita Ridabasarada Surabhub Shivara Rama Chandra Ki Jai Sharanam Pavana Sutta Hanumana Ki Jai. I hope you enjoyed this episode on Sanskrit mantras for health and healing. I want to remind my listeners that you cannot find this combination of mantras anywhere else. They have come to me from the lineage of Namadeva Archarya, Sadguru Sankeshavadas, Guru Ramamata, as well as my Vedic astrology gurus. So it's a unique combination, and it is my pleasure to share these very healing and powerful energetic formulas that we all need at this time on the planet. So I will ask you to subscribe to Cosmic Scene with Jill Jardine, download this episode and all episodes, and please give us a 5-star review. This is Cosmic Scene with Jill Jardine signing off, sending you healing Sanskrit mantra vibrations through the quantum field. Duh.